Efforts to unblock the Strait of Hormuz at a critical point as talks between the US and Iran seemingly hit an impasse. Tehran wants to leave concerns over its nuclear program for later negotiations. But there is little sign Washington will accept that and abandon its naval blockade. Iran says the US can no longer, quote, dictate what other nations do. It's urging Washington to drop its, quote, illegal and irrational demands following inconclusive peace talks in Pakistan. Our traffic through the Strait of Hormuz remains sparse despite reports of maritime activity. Shipping data shows a fully loaded LNG tanker transiting the waterway for the first time since the blockade came into effect. Another Japan-linked supertanker carrying around 2 million barrels of Saudi crude is trying to clear the same route as well. Kate Fisher joins us live from Washington, D.C. for CNA. Kate, because the red lines change, the terms of any peace deal also changing every time we speak. What will it take now for the U.S. to ease its blockade of the Strait of Hormuz?
Yeah, well, reports here suggest that Donald Trump is not satisfied with this latest proposal from the Iranians. He discussed it in the Situation Room on Monday with his top advisors. And although we have not been told as to exactly why he is not satisfied, I think it goes back to what he has always said throughout this, that his goal is that Iran must not have a nuclear weapon. And he is not, at the moment anyway, ready to separate that negotiation from the negotiation to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, which suggests that although the economic pain is bad, it's not quite bad enough yet for him to decide that it is worth trying to do a separate negotiation over the strait without including that all-important nuclear enrichment program, which he has always said is the main goal, because suggestions here is that if he does that, it essentially means that feels like he is denying himself a victory, and he doesn't want to suggest that he's stepping back from that because he doesn't want to suggest that the Iranians have more leverage than the Americans in this. And I think this is essentially what it boils down to, is who can withstand the pain of this blockade the longest, the Iranians on their blockade of their ports, or the US and the rest of the world, and the pressure that the US is under from the rest of the world for the blockade on the Strait of Hormuz. And at the moment, Donald Trump is saying he is not ready to do that, and he wants to see the Iranians give way on these nuclear ambitions before he's going to talk.
Kate, but does Washington have any more space to exact more pain on Iran so that Tehran gives way on its nuclear program?
Yeah, this is the big question. There's kind of a stalemate at the moment, isn't it? People are describing it as no peace but no war, and it's almost, it's not really serving either side very well, because it's about who can withstand this economic pain the longest. The Americans are betting that the Iranians will give way first, and the Iranians are, as they have done throughout this conflict, not budging, and they are betting that the US is going to budge first. And of course, there is huge pressure on Donald Trump domestically. Gas prices are rising. There are midterm elections in November. His poll numbers are tanking, and he will be very well aware of that. Alongside all the other domestic issues, the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner at the weekend, just one of the examples. So there is a lot of other things for the Americans to be thinking about. They want to see a conclusion to this conflict, and the Iranians are betting that they can hold out longer than the Americans. And it's perhaps only it's going to be, I would say, only a matter of weeks before one or the other side has to give way.
Oh, thanks. Kate Fisher there reporting live for CNA from Washington, D.C.